Okay, so today I'm going to show you guys how to work on building a house in SketchUp. We're going to be designing the outside of the house. So here's an example of kind of what I'm talking about. So you'll be designing a house, all the features on the face of it and the roof and all those things to make it so that we can create a house. We're also going to do some landscape. So this is going to be one of the parts of a multiple part video to help you guys to be able to design a house. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to SketchUp. So the way that we can go to SketchUp is type in app.sketchup.com. And it's going to get you to here, and you're going to sign in with Google. Now, I'll just sign in with my account. And if you have a school account, you can go ahead and sign in just using your school login. All right, so it'll take just a second to load up. But the biggest thing with using SketchUp is always using the measurement type tools to help you to be able to make exact sizes. So we're not just guessing the size, we're gonna actually make a house that has dimensions that you'd see on a regular house in the real world. So hopefully this loads up a little bit faster. Okay, so when you get here, if you've never done SketchUp before, you'll go ahead and say create new. And simple template is in feet and inches. I'll be using that. And then it'll bring up our brand new file here. Okay, so you've got a person on here that's used as a reference to help you so that you don't make a giant or really tiny house. But if you use measurement tools, that's going to help a lot. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to use a rectangle. The easiest way to use and each of these tools has a speed command to it. The eraser is E, the selection tool is spacebar, the paint bucket is B, the line tool is L, rectangle is R. To use the push-pull tool, you'll use P. And also, if you click on these tools, there's other tools that pop up. Another tool we'll be using is the offset tool, which is F. Move tool is M. Tape measure is T. And then some of these other tools, like orbiting around your place, will be like this. You'll orbit around, and that speed command is O. If you want to move it back and forth, you want to pan it back and forth, the tool is H, or hand tool. So you can just grab it and drag it. So those are some of your basic tools. So we're going to start out by making sure we're looking down at the ground. And we've got the X and the Y and the Z axis here to help us to be able to understand kind of this three-dimensional world. So to draw a rectangle, you just get the rectangle tool out. And what I do is I just click and drag it out to wherever, and then I'll type in the dimensions I want. I like to do 60 feet by 40 feet. Now, if you look down here at the bottom, 60 by 40, the apostrophe next to the 60 means feet, and the comma makes it so you can divide it into two dimensions. And then I'll just hit return, and it'll make my box. Okay, next thing I want to do is houses they're not normally just totally rectangular like this. So I would come and add other things into it. So for example, I want to add a garage to this. So I'm going to do the garage by getting out the tape measure. That makes it so I can do everything accurately. Now, when I use the tape measure, I will just make it so I'll click on the edge of where I want to start and then drag it out to wherever. You want to make sure this dotted line goes parallel with whatever line you're clicking on. So I'll drag it to wherever. If I want to make a garage, your typical size of garage or standard size is for every car you do 10 feet. So if I want a 2-car garage, I would do at least 20 feet. If I want a 3-car garage, 30 feet. And I can go bigger than that. Most garages are a little more than 20 feet wide if it's a 2-car garage. And then the depth of a garage is always going to be 20 feet or more. That is code or standard that you have to follow. So I'm going to undo that by doing Command Z or Control Z. And then I'm going to try this again. I'll just drag it out to wherever. And then if I want it to be 24 feet, I'll just type in 24 and apostrophe and return, and it'll move to the spot that I want it to go to. Now, I like to do that instead of just looking at it and drawing it. I like to do exact dimensions. That way, the house is actually true to life that you'd see somewhere. So the back of the garage, I want to make it match with the back of my house. So a way to make a line match with something is I click on the line with the tape measure, and then when it says 0 inches, that means it's the same line as that, so I can just continue that line. Now later I'll do a rectangle. So I'm going to figure out where I want the front of my garage to be. Now a garage is typically, again, it's going to be at least 20 feet deep. So I'm going to make it so it's a little bit deeper garage. I'll go 26 feet and then hit enter. Now that I've drawn these guidelines, I can come in with my rectangle tool and draw those in. Now, you know that it's solid when it actually brings up a color when those lines connect. Now, for now, I'm actually going to delete this line. We're not doing anything with the inside of the house, so I'll just leave this area open, and for good reason, because later I'm going to use an offset tool, which makes it so these lines will copy out from the house. Now, usually a house also has some little parts that stick out a little bit. If I look at a house, if I go type in house in Google and look at images, I can see a whole bunch of different types of houses. Now for this project, you can, I like to pick just a house that I want to kind of model it after, and then I'll do it. So as you notice, this house right here, if we look at it, it's got some of the parts, like this garage sits more forward than this part. They've got some parts that stick up in the back right here. So you don't want your floor plan just to be, or your house to be just rectangular. So we're going to go and make it so it has a few more little features to it. So on it, I already have the garage sitting back here. Now in the front, maybe I'll have a part that sticks up a little bit more than the other. So in order to do that, I'm going to click and drag up this way. And when you drag, you want to make sure you're on the axis that you want it to be on. This is the green axis, which goes in and out. If I switch and it goes to the blue, it's actually the measurement line is going up with the blue axis. So I want it to be on the green axis. I'm going to bring it out just like 4 feet here. And then I'm going to bring it in from here. We'll just go 4 feet from here, and then I want the whole thing to stick out about, we'll just have it stick out about 20 feet. So now that I've done those measurements, I can get my rectangle tool and drag and drop, and then I'll delete that right there. So I've got the basic idea. Now, if I want to do like a bay window, I can. So bay window, first thing you're going to do is figure out how far from the wall you want it to be. So maybe I want it to stick out 4 feet from the wall. The next thing I'm going to do is figure out that first window on the bay window, how wide it's going to be. Now that's the one that's on the angle. So I'll just do 4 feet here, and then the actual big part of the bay window, I'm going to do 10 feet. And then over here, I'm going to come back, and that other window is going to be the same size as this one. So I'll do 4 feet here. So I draw these lines. This is where my bay window is going to be. Then I'll have the whole bay window stick out 4 feet. Now there's a lot of measurement lines, but what that does later is, because I've evenly laid this out, I can click here to here, there to there, and that to that right there. And then I can delete this line and I have my bay window. Okay, so now what we've done is we've built the main footprint, I call it, of the home. Now, if you start getting a ton of measurement lines, which I have, I'm just going to get the eraser, which is E, and just click and drag over these lines. I like to erase lines out here instead of here. That way I don't accidentally erase something in the middle. So I'll come and erase all these guidelines that I made. Okay, so now that I've done that, it's time to add some walls to the house. So I'm going to come in here and add walls. So the way that I do that is I'm going to use my offset tool, which is F, or it's underneath the push-pull tool. Now, once I've done that, you can see that these little dots show up here. That's showing that, okay, this is what I want to offset. And what the offset tool does is I click and drag out or in, and it will just mirror all those lines together. Now, the outside of a wall is 6 inches. An outside wall is 6 inches thick, so I'll do 6 inches for that, for those walls. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is the garage floor is actually going to be level with the ground, but your house actually sits up above the ground. The floor does. Because normally when you walk into a house, you walk up some stairs to get into it. So we'll build a porch that sits 2 feet above the ground, which means we'll pull the floor up 2 feet. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to grab my push pull tool, which is P, which is over here. And I'm going to pull up, first I'm going to pull up the walls. Now the walls are going to be, the standard height for a wall is 8 feet for the ceiling. You can do 8 feet, 9 feet, or 10 feet. It's really up to you what you decide. I like to do a 9-foot ceiling, but when I bring my floor up 2 feet, I need to bring my wall up to my floor 2 feet, like that. And you notice my garage is still at ground level, because when you go to your driveway, you don't drive upstairs to get into the garage. It'll be ground level, but the house sits 2 feet above the ground. Now what I'll do, now that I brought those up, is I'm going to pull my floor or my ceiling up 9 feet. And then I type in 9 feet, then I hit enter. Okay, so now my floor, as you can see, is, let me get under it here. Underneath it is, you can see that it's raised up. That way when I draw my porch and do the other things, it'll work with it. Now what I'm going to do is draw a porch. And we'll get you to that point in this tutorial. And then after that, I'll finish this tutorial, and then I'll do another one doing windows and doors and other things. So we'll just kind of take it step by step with each tutorial. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I want to create a porch, because anytime you have a door, you got to have a way to get into the house. I'm going to make the back here into a door, a sliding door, but I need a porch and steps. So we're going to focus on the porch and steps right now. So what I'll do is I'll come in here, and the easiest way to do porches, you can do it 2 ways. You could do it on the ground and pull it up, or I like to do it from the wall. So I'll get my tape measure, and instead of pulling out along the green axis, I'm going to be pulling up along this face. So I'm going to type in, pull it up to wherever, and type in 2 an apostrophe and hit return. And that'll bring up my line. Now, I got to figure out where I want my door to be. But what I'll do first is I'm going to come off of this wall. So I'm following this line now, and I'll decide how big I want my porch to be. Let's say I want it to be 18 feet wide. I'll do it kind of like that. Okay, now I have those guidelines in place. I can get my rectangle tool, and I can draw a rectangle. Now I can pull this part out, and this will become my porch. Now porch standard, it has to come out at least 4 feet. I'm going to come out a little further than that and make it so that it's 6 total feet. So there's my porch. Now next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw this line here. I'm going to draw a line that goes from here to here, and that's mostly just for measurement purposes. I'll delete it later. I want to find the center of this section right here. So I need a line in order to break this apart. So to find the center, what I'll do is I'll click and drag out this way, but I'll bring it up to a line that I want to find the center of. So I want to find the center of this line that runs from here to here. So if I drag this along, it will snap and do that little light blue circle at my halfway point, which is 9 feet. So now I have where my door is going to be, and later I'll show you how to do that. But for now, we're going to do stairs. So stairs, I want to have facing center with the door here. So in order to do that, I'm going to drag another guideline this way to mark the center of the porch. And then I'll do one more guideline that goes this way to mark the center face of the porch. Okay, so, and this guideline right here, I don't need anymore, so I'm going to delete. It gets a little confusing when you get too many guidelines. So I want to go out from the center here to create my stairs. So the way that I'll do that is I'll get my tape measure, and I will drag out from here. Let's say I want my stairs to be 8 feet wide, so I'm going to split the difference and have them 4 feet on that side, and then to complete it, I'll do another 4 feet, and then the whole thing is 8 feet. So then I can get my rectangle tool and draw in where the stairs will go. Next thing I'm going to do is add stairs. The code for stairs, you can't make a stair any taller than 10 inches. So right now this is 24 inches from here to here. So in order to make less than 10-inch stairs, I can't do 2 stairs. I'd have to do more. I could do 4 6-inch stairs, or I could do 3 8-inch stairs, which is probably a better thing. So I'm going to come down 8 inches here. And then I will come down 8 inches from that line. And those will be my stairs. Then I'll come in and draw it in with my rectangle tool. Okay. Now I want to have my stairs so that they're pulled out. And the depth of the stair has to be at least 10 inches deep. On an outside stair, I'll usually do 12 inches. So I'm going to pull this stair out 3 feet so that I have room to pull this one out 2 feet and this one out 1 foot. So you can see they all come out so these stairs are a foot deep. Now what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll delete these lines because I don't need them anymore. And delete these lines as well. So now I've got my basic stairs. Now I can do the same thing in the back. So if I wanted to have maybe a porch that comes off of this right here, I'm actually going to do this porch from the ground up. So I'm going to use my hand tool and move things a little bit in orbit. So I'm going to have my porch that comes out along this whole area here. So easy way to do that would be I'm going to get a guideline and I'm going to mark this bottom line and match it here so that it comes out. And then from there, I'll draw a guideline that comes out here. And then I got to decide how far I want it to come out from there. So I want it to come out at least 4 feet from this wall. So I'll click from this wall right here, and I'm just going to come out 6 feet from the edge. Now I'm getting a ton of guidelines again that are kind of getting in my way. So I'm going to go and erase those real quick from the work that I did on the front porch. Oh, and I accidentally deleted my guidelines that I needed. So we'll put them in again. So I'm going to make a guideline that goes to here. So click a line that's parallel with this and draw it, and then I'll do another one that matches up with this. So now I can get my rectangle tool and I can connect from this corner to this corner to create what's going to be my porch. Now what I'll do is get my push-pull tool again, hitting P, and pull this up 2 feet. All right, so now we have our porch. Next thing I need to do is I need to find the center of this. So I'm going to click and drag this way and find the center of this line by dragging it along the line until it snaps with that light blue circle. And then I'm going to make my stairs. So my stairs, I'm going to bring them out. Let's see, we'll come out 4 feet again here. Make 8-foot stairs. The cool thing is when you drag this out, it actually remembers your last measurement for you. Next thing I'll do is I want my 8-inch stairs. So I'm going to come down 8 inches and do the same thing again here, 8 inches. All right. Now I've got my porch, and then I can draw those lines in, get my push-pull tool again, and I'm going to pull out 3 feet for this one. This one will do 2 feet, and this one will come out 1 foot. And then again, I'll get my eraser tool and erase, and go over here and erase this stuff. Okay, so that is kind of your basic structure for your house with stairs and porches and the house being raised up. My next tutorial, we'll talk about doing doors and windows. Okay, so thanks a lot. And that's it.